because the
Go, go,
after
go,
hours
go,
is
go.
starting. The after hours party is starting right now. So this is the demarcation point for the official meeting.
The
And I will be
demarcation point.
keeping, yeah, doggone military terms, you know. And so I will be keeping the meeting open for us to chit chat. This is the opportunity for those that want to stay on and let your defenses down so we can get to know each other a little bit better. Um, you know, no rules, hands, you know, the powder puff hand gloves are taken off, and yeah, you know, let your hair down. I've been growing mine out. I really got to shave.
How long has it been growing there?
Hi, guys.
About as long here on the sides, it's about as long as my beard right now.
Hey, Dane, I can loan you a little bit.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of that. You're like Samson. I'm gonna take a little bit of that when you get up there to the event. Yeah, I miss my long hair when I had it.
This is the leftover
from
playing Santa Claus for
ago.
several years. So.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we got a special event in the works. It's, you know, the wheels are turning. Those that you know, as I kept posting throughout the meeting, you know, those that Scott and I have reached out to and talked to about helping and taking the fruition of the structured format that we've came up with. It's going to be truly unique compared to what everybody else has done. It's going to be a trendsetter, and I'm sure we're going to be flattered by those that are other entities that will be taking our format and copying it, which is great. Will be great. And since last week, Gary, you know, when we were at 15 lays, we are now up to 18 lays.
Great.
Oh.
Hey, Dane, I'll probably be bringing both of mine. That 2014 can travel as well. I'll take the tailstock off, and it's still light enough to throw in the back of the truck. So I'll bring the 1221 and the
okay.
2015.
Outstanding.
Light enough for you, baby.
Well, we do have a mechanized machine there we'll be able to use to, or at least we should be able to use to offload and maneuver lays around once we get them set up on the pole barn tarmac. So shouldn't be an issue there.
That'd be great, because I was just going to say, I'm going to have somebody to help unload all those.
Yeah.
I can get them. I'll get some of the guys to load them in a trailer. Will come.
Right.
Dane, are y'all gonna recruit any vendors?
We have it in mind. We haven't gotten to that step yet. What we envision for the vendor side is small business folks, to give them some exposure. Because one, it's going to be a limited crowd size that we're going to have, you know, so for your larger vendors, you know, the foot traffic isn't going to be there for them.
You're right.
So,
well, there may be. We don't know how many people will show up for it.
Well, we do have a limit. I mean, there's you know, for this first event, you know, you know, maybe we get 200, but 200's too many. We got to get our feet wet first and pull off the first event with no hitches. I'd rather have 75, 80 people screaming at me compared to 200.
Well, it'd be nice to.
It'd be a good problem to have.
We better not have anybody there fussing about anything. You know, everybody's gonna try
Well-
to do what they
Well,
do.
if anybody is fussing or being unruly, which is going to be in the T's and C's, they'll be escorted from the premises.
That'll work.
You know, that's and you know, you got one shot. You know, we're all adults. We know how to. We should know how to behave and be rational. But behavior like that will not be tolerated.
If somebody has a problem with something, they need to come volunteer to help fix whatever might be. You know, if
Absolutely,
we
have
don't have something
have a
covered,
solution. Don't complain about
Yeah.
something unless you got a
have a
solution,
solution for it,
a viable
and be
solution.
willing to work it.
Right.
Be
Yep.
willing to work it.
Amen. I
But,
like that. I like what you're saying there. I'm gonna recycle that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's been a solution to some problems I've had with some groups like that. They come complain, put them in charge, let them do it. And
Right.
they,
Well, yeah,
You
right.
got
Take
it.
care
See
of
what,
it.
see what,
That's
yeah,
what they do.
amen. See what,
Got that right.
yeah.
We've,
Joaquin, I spent 12 years as a member of the school, elected member of the school board in our county.
Yeah.
And when people came bitching about stuff, I found them a job.
yeah, right.
Hey,
Squeaky wheel.
that's something we need to fix. Here,
The
you're
squeaky
in
wheel
charge
gets
of
the
fixing
grease, right?
And so speaking of which, Gary, you are going to be a part of that group as well. Okay. And I know I hadn't reached out to you officially, but I'm officially doing it now. You are going to be a part of that group.
And if anybody causes too much trouble, we'll just have Tim and Kelly take care of them.
Yeah. There you go.
Right. Joaquin, we just got a headshot of you. You adjusted your camera so far up.
Oh, well, I was eating ice cream and I didn't want you to see me feeding my mouth.
Oh hell, nobody cares about eating ice
Oh.
cream.
Yeah,
I
nobody
got-
cares.
I got a sub that I'm going to be pulling out here probably in an hour and start cramming in my face. So
Okay.
Oh, me.
you can take the spot and we'll pick on you about eating like we do with Hampton.
I wouldn't feel right if you didn't pick on me.
Just don't yell at him, Dane.
Huh?
Yeah, I know, right? Just don't yell at him.
Yeah. Might get yelled back at. Mhm.
Hey, Joaquin, stop going up to the camera.
Was it-
I'll do that thinking, because I'm talking directly to you and yeah, so I'm trying to lay off doing that. I didn't realize how I was coming across like that. So again, I apologize to everybody that may have had their feelings hurt if I was yelling at them.
All right, Joaquin,
was it-
what flavor ice cream you eating there, bud?
Buddy, this is vanilla homemade ice cream.
Outstanding.
Oh, wow.
Dane, was it you asking about the bottom of this box?
Yes,
Okay, you only see about 3/8 of an inch
right.
of, but this piece is actually 3/4 of an inch thick, so it's set inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did a rabbit on the side, right on.
I did, yeah. I cut a rabbit on the side, and it fits. I mean, perfectly. There's no gaps, no seams, no nothing.
Right. I kind of
Now, Billy,
thought
if
that's
you
what you
built a-
did, but I didn't want to go into a monologue on what I
That's
thought
all
you
right.
might have done. So, because I figured you might be able to ask or you'd show me afterwards. So,
There is nothing on SWAT's webpage that says they're not taking them this year. So I don't know.
that's kind of
Did you
weird.
heard
that
anything, Joaquin?
they would do that.
What was that, Billy?
Somebody told me that the SWAT's not going to be taking beads of courage boxes this year because the medical people are having a hard time storing them or giving them away or something.
I heard that last year that they couldn't give them away. Nobody would take them.
Huh.
They were
Wow.
doing more of these knitted baskets. I mean, knitted things.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why, because they don't take up so much room. I'll call Pam and find out.
Well, if they don't,
Well, I'm going to take it anyway, but
Yeah.
if like I
They-
was saying, if I can't leave it there, then I'll just put it over in my instant gallery and bring it home and take it to local hospital here.
Yeah, we're taking a half a dozen up there. The club is.
Okay.
I guess we ought to find out.
Yeah.
if you can't get rid of it, Billy, just bring it up here when you come, and I'll see that it goes to a kids cancer or kids unit.
You can still take it for show and tell, you know. I
Yeah.
know we give ours to a hospital in San Antonio after the SWAT show, we bring them back and we
Next
take
time.
them to San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
Billy, thanks for that Insta Gallery. That's the name for our booths that we're going to have there for the instructors. Thank you.
He doesn't know about that yet, Dane. He's not part of that main group.
Well, yeah, I know that.
I don't know about that yet, Dane. I've been left in the dark.
Not for long.
Oh, that was a bad statement, bud. You liable to get covered up now.
Yeah,
I
you're gonna
know.
get
Hey,
Yeah.
waylaid.
I got big shoulders, so I'm all good. I'm good.
They're gonna turn me into a mushroom, get me in the dark, and then cover me with shit.
We might pass on the shit, Billy.
Okay,
That'd be too messy. That'd be too messy.
Yeah,
Might
we have to
smell it,
clean that up.
right?
what hospital, Joaquin?
I don't remember, but I'll find out. But
I'm sure I could find a child's cancer wing here at one of the hospitals easy enough.
wait, let me ask Glenn. Glenn, do you know what hospital we take them to?
I think it's Universal Hospital. I believe that's the name of it,
Yeah.
Okay, that would be university.
or University Hospital.
Yeah. That's one of the big trauma centers here, so that stands to reason.
Yeah, we wanted to have something personal, do something personal with them and give them away ourselves locally. And
I
our
don't blame you.
children's hospital, they don't take them here. San Antonio was the closest we could find.
Okay, cool.
So I came up with the email address for info for folks that want to inquire about our event, and I passed that on to Dave Rhodes tonight, and so he'll be putting something up on the webpage tomorrow. And once it's there, I'll also put it on. Well, I may put it on the Facebook page. We'll see how that goes.
Can I
I
say
might be able to.
something?
Yes, Mark.
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. Instead of the big projects, there's another thing that I do is on the road all the time. I would go around to the different clubs, and my time was free. My day was free for the clubs. And what we did in teaching wood slicing, we made little Christmas ornaments out of 2x4s, right?
Nice.
And then we gathered them up at the end of the day, and I've taken them down to like Children's Hospital and stuff, and we donate them, and they have activity rooms for the children, right? And so the children can paint them up, and they always accept them here in Atlanta at Children's Hospital.
Yeah, Mark, we do that with Easter eggs. We make Easter eggs out of 2x4s and take them to the children's hospital.
But small things like that.
Right. Christmas
Uh,
ornaments would be good because it's that time frame to start making them and giving them out. That's a good idea.
But anyway, that's a good
And
way
then,
to teach people.
and then, Mark, I'm going to give you a call probably sometime within the next week or so, and talk to you about some other things regarding the Level Up event.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm getting back to where I'm turning, and it's just like today. I had fun making that little box for Katie, and it was a way to recycle small pieces of wood, and it's fun, and doesn't cost anything because they're all side cut off scraps from bowls and things like that, But anyway, uh, you know, doing things for the children and just making little spinning tops. And you don't decorate them, but you take a low table and you get a couple old 5-gallon buckets that the kids can sit on. And I have a low table when I go out there, and I buy these Crayola markers that are food safe and washable so that the mothers don't have any problem. And the kids just sit there and they decorate their spinning tops. And we have a little racetrack for them to do the spinning top games, and have all those different ornaments. And it's just wonderful. It's so much fun. And no kid coming with their grandparent or something like that can pass the booth when they see 15 kids coloring ornaments.
It's harder to make little ornaments and little things like that a lot of times than it is to make something big. It's
Yes.
better tool control. You
Yep.
got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you'll learn, and it don't cost you hardly nothing.
That's
that.
right. Yeah, I used to do so many events, and I still have people come to my shop and they pick up construction materials when they're building new houses. They always throw out all these little scraps and they bring them to me because they know that I recycle them to the kids.
Yeah, it's good to know. It's good, damn good ideas. Oh, show. All right. I got to disappear for a few minutes. I got to go take care of my cats, do the insulin dosage. And I'll be right back. I'll be listening.
Right.
But I'll
See
be
you in a
muted.
few.
All right.
Well, I got another order for 10 more of those Christmas trees I've been doing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great.
So, and I still got a whole bunch more whistles to make because they increased their order. I don't mind. Gives me something to do. Keeps me in trouble with the wife.
Yep. Knows where to find you.
Yep.
Yeah, if you can get a few pennies for it, then you buy more wood to
Yep.
do more.
Oh, I went and looked at a new car today, a 2025
Oh
Equinox.
my God.
And I looked at it, and they wanted me to trade my old one in. They said, well, you have this much equity in it if you trade it in. And I went, I don't think so. My Equinox has got 16,000 miles on it, and it does everything
Oh,
I
that's
want.
nothing yet.
And I got the extended warranty, so all electrical on it and everything's good for 10 years since I bought it after the manufacturer's warranty. So, and it's the same as the manufacturer's warranty. It covers everything the same. And I had it Z-barred, and I had the, all the stuff done to it, a ceramic finish put on it, and the interiors so it don't, you know, if a spill gets on it, it don't get stained and all that stuff. And I figured by the time I went out and did all that stuff to this thing, hell, I'd have close to $40,000 into it. And all I owe is $3,000 on the one I've got. I could pay it off and put that money in the bank. But boy, I'll tell you, they were pushing it because my car is always kept in the garage and it's immaculate. You know, there's not a the disc brakes, they don't even have rust on them. They still got the factory shine. So yeah, they wanted that one. They could get 22,000 out of it easy. And if I was going to sell it, I wouldn't give it to them. I'd just sell it outright.
Sell it outright. There you go.
But yeah, it would be nice to have another new car, but heck, it would be like hopping into the Jetsons car. I wouldn't know how to operate nothing.
Well, good night, all. I gotta pop off. I got an early day tomorrow. Billy, I'll bring you.
All right, Tim, have a good night.
Okay,
I'll
no.
bring you some blanks. How thick do you want them?
I don't know how big was the tree.
Well, it was part of a crotch from about 150-year-old tree. So anyway, I'd cut it down into smaller pieces, more manageable. But how big
Yeah.
of a piece can your big lathe handle?
Well, it's it's got a 20-inch swing, so I can do that big.
Okay, I'll bring you something for that too. So
make sure bring them the pith.
all right, man. We'll see you guys later.
All right, take it
See
easy,
you,
buddy.
everybody.
See you, Tim.
Come to the SWAT. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Yep.
Have a blessed
Okay.
night.
You know, speaking about the pith, 90% of all the bowls that I turn are always end grain because I can get 4 times as much for a bowl turned end grain as I can a bowl turned side grain.
Yeah.
And it takes the same amount of time. The secret is this. Number one, you never leave it with a sharp edge if you're turning green, right? Number two, you spray accelerator on the inside of the bowl after you get it, thinned out and the bowl is still green. And then on the cannon on the back, right, then I drizzle thin super glue and it soaks in down the pith through the end grain, but it doesn't come out the inside of the bowl because you've sprayed accelerated. So that way it doesn't stain the bowl, right, or make a differential when you go to finish it. And the other beauty about turning end grain is the fact that you can put it in a warehouse and let it dry for a year. And guess what? You put it back on the lathe. I can take a 20-inch bowl and it's not out around by a 16th or an 1/8 of an inch at the most because
Wow.
you uniform. It never warps like a football because you're not dealing with the side grain, end grain routine. And so nobody, you take like ambrosia, maple and stuff like that, they don't see that at the shows. So when you go to a show, the object is to have things that other people never will. And you can always sell the stuff.
Yeah,
Mark, that is fantastic. I never thought of that. I will have to put that in my repertoire of info that needs to be saved from
Okay, now the other thing that you have to remember, right, is that if you're going to do the wood slicing and you're going to turn the inside of a end grain bowl, then you want to start down at the base and you want to come across the bottom, then all the way up the edge to the top of the bowl. You have to go that way. And you don't use a bowl gouge, right? You use a spindle gouge with a flattened grain on it, and it will absolutely slice the wood. And you can start your sanding at probably about 400 to 800, and you're done when you go to thin it out. So it's a fun thing to do.
I'll tell you, I've been microwaving my green wood that I've turned bowls and stuff. And I've been taking that 3408 and putting on all the spots that have end grain or a pith just around that area. And I'll tell you what, I have less cracks. The stuff doesn't warp as much. And in fact, I haven't noticed any warping on any of the bowls I've got. So none of them look like a football. And I did side grain and all that stuff and end grain, and they look beautiful.
Yeah. The only thing that I do, if I'm gonna finish something, I'll just share this with y'all. If I'm gonna finish a bowl, right, or a urn or whatever, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn around, and if I'm gonna use super glue, then I use the super glue to repair cracks or do whatever. And then if I'm going to use Bartley's gel or something like that, then I thin that Bartley's gel out like 50-50 with mineral spirits, and I take care of any of the soft spots or any of the cracks or anything like that. And I stabilize the wood with whatever I'm going to finish it with. That way, there's no, if you put super glue on there, then try to put Bartley's gel, well, then the super glue acts as an inhibitor. It closes up the pores, right? And you get differential in color. So, if you turn that bowl green, then you always put it up on its side. You never put it on the top or the bottom. You store it on the rim so that standing vertical, that way air can get to the inside and the outside, and you get less warpage, and you get hardly any cracking, right? And you spray accelerator on the inside, then you put the 3408 on the tenon of the recess, and then I put everything in a cardboard liquor box, and I put it in my warehouse for a year. And when there's no moving air over the wood, you don't get cracking.
Yep.
But anyway, and any of you guys that need assistance or anything, I can put my iPhone over the lathe and I can help you with any problems. And the iPhone doesn't cost us anything.
Yeah, that's
Mark?
true.
Yes.
I remember seeing a video you did on using the buffing wheel, the Beal system.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying, do not use the Triple E, the red. And I never did understand why not to use that. Is that true?
Here's the reason why.
Okay.
Okay. Because the Triple E is designed to take 400 grit scratches out of raw wood.
Okay.
So once I've finished sanding and I do my 800 random orbit if I use the AAA on it, then number one, you're going to stain the wood with the red rouge that's in it, you know. And number two, after you sanded random orbit 800 so the eyeball can't see it, then when you're using that AAA, the problem is you're putting scratches back in it.
Okay.
So I don't use that.
True.
And I don't use the white diamond anymore. All right. The only thing I use is the Vonex. And that just works like a charm. And it doesn't have any white residue in the darker woods or anything like that.
Yeah, I quit using that white diamond. I mean, because
It's made for lacquer.
or whatever, it just rent the piece, you know.
It's made for white diamond. And here's another thing that people don't understand. You know, if you put white diamond above 1700 RPM on your buffing wheel, what you're going to do is you're going to deposit strings of that matrix in there, and then it's on the surface. And the same thing with wax. So when you're using white diamond or Vonex, I'm usually at 1400 RPM, right? That way it won't, melt the matrix and put strings on there. Because if you put the strings on the surface, then you have to take and sand off your buffing wheel, make it totally dry, go back and buff to lift off those strings that have been deposited on there. In other words, they put too many RPMs on there, too much pressure, and they're causing the heat and they're causing that matrix to melt. So, and on wax, carnauba wax, I never run it above 900, right? And that way you don't get any wax strings on there whatsoever. And just put a little bit on there.
900 on the Corvette. I usually just stay at 1400, but I need to drop down when I put the carnauba wax on.
I don't go, maximum I've ever run it is 1,000. And that prevents me from ever having any strings to have to go back and redo stuff.
Okay. I appreciate that.
And then if you're doing something for the galleries and you're using the Renaissance wax, right? Before you use the Renaissance wax, I keep a separate wheel for it. But you might want to take a little sandpaper and clean off the wax wheel, clean the carnauba off, and then, just take your finger and put a tiny bit of that Renaissance wax, which is a crystalline product, right? Then when people handle it, their fingerprints won't transfer. And that's what they use in the museums. And the little can is expensive. It's like $28 or something. But
Mark, it lasts a long time. It don't take much.
right,
Mark,
I know. Yes.
Do you worry about sanding paper grit getting embedded in the wheel if you use sandpaper on the wheel? Would it be better to use a metal roll to push against the edge?
While you're using the sandpaper, then before you go and apply the wax to it or the Vonex or whatever, just take an old screwdriver or something like that and put it up next to the wheel and slow it down and, slow the wheel down, and that'll fluff out all that stuff, and centrifugal force will remove any grit from the wheel.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
But never put too much on. What I do is I just hit the wheel, bip, and I put it down, and a minute later I just go put a little bit on. Because if you coat that wheel, then what you're doing is you're just asking for trouble. It's going to deposit.
Yeah, it'll leave streaks on your whatever vessel it is that you're trying to buff up. It'll leave streaks of the Vonex on them. Yep.
Then another thing too,
Guilty.
which is really important, right? When you're using that 3408, let's say you get all done, you wiped it on, you wiped it completely off. and you go to buff it, and all of a sudden you're looking in, there's a little drip or something that you missed when you wiped it off. Well, you don't need to do it like last where you got to, sand off the whole thing. You just take your 800 sandpaper, take that one drip, and just do a little random orbit sanding and remove the drip, and just put it back on the Vonex. And because the 3408 is now inside all the cells, you've created a cellulose reinforced acrylic plastic. Then all you got to do is just buff that one little place, and you will never be able to find the place that you did the repair work at 800.
Right. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Hey,
And
Mark.
I tell you what, hey, go ahead.
Hey, Mark, you were telling me one time about like a horsehair buffing wheel or something like that. I can't remember the details on that.
Yes, I have. Let's say you have a natural edge bowl with the bark on it, or I do a lot of pedestal candles, that have they're burl, and they have a bark edge. Hang on just a minute. I'm going to get out of this chair and I'll show you guys something. And you can see. Won't take me. I got to turn on a light. And then you'll know. And it's very important if you're using, because if you take a white cotton wheel and you put it on your natural edge stuff, okay, my wife's got a puzzle going right here. But you see the candle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me get you highlighted here, Mark. Came off. Here we go.
Well, let me turn the
camera around.
Yeah, let me see if I can turn it.
Don't turn your video off.
All right. Well, I can't. But anyway, so what I do this is not hollow. See, it's just done, because what you can do is you can make the recess for the candle plate. Then you can just expand your jaws in here and clean off the bottom. And I use the ones that have the 3 little balls on them. So you can put a 4-inch candle on here. But anyway, when you got all these little bark spots, can you see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. If you put a cotton wheel on there and try to buff it, right, you will go nuts, because it'll pick up all those little, cotton strings and everything.
Yeah.
But people like these things, and I do the same thing with the little key light things and all that. But it's just a way to take and do something simple. You don't have to hollow. You can be done with it. The wood just has to be dry. But now the horsehair wheel, right? If you go to a shoe shop, this outfit called Landis, Landis, they're the people that make all this stuff for the shoe shops. And if you go into the shoe shop, they have all these different wheels, and one of them's a big horsehair wheel to, polish the stuff up. So the horsehair wheel, you can get them at Landis USA. You put them on your lathe, and when you're dealing with all these bark inclusions and everything, there's 2 things I do. Like if I'm going to use Bartley's gel, then I dab it on with a paintbrush. And the way you get rid of the blobs is you finish it by blowing the blobs and everything off with an air compressor. So the only thing that's left if you blow it off of those areas with an air compressor is just what's the Bartley's shell that's left on the surface. That's all. And that'll dry and it'll be done. Or you can take the horsehair wheel. Since horsehair is protein, it's not cotton, there is no residue whatsoever. So you can go over these rough bark areas and all that. You can vary the speed on it. You can slow it down. It'll get down in the crack. You can speed it up a little bit. And you can finish your super glue or your Bartley's or whatever you're using, right? And it'll be just fine, and you won't have any cotton residue. And the only way to get the cotton residue out that I find is to use a blowtorch, right? And then you don't want to use a blowtorch really when you're dealing with the acrylic stuff, because it will, want to catch on fire.
Yeah.
But so that's why I use the horsehair. It's protein, it doesn't wear out. I just sent one of my horsehair wheels. I've used it for 13 years, right? And I sent it out to one of my wounded warriors that I support, and I bought 2 more. But it's a tremendous thing to have around the shop because there's no lint. It doesn't wear out. It's all protein.
What RPM you use that on?
Well, I vary it, but I do not use it more than about 1,200, 1,300.
About the same as the Onyx buffing wheel.
Yeah. Yeah. You can go up, they say on white diamonds, if you can go up to 1,700 RPM, but you're on the edge of that, melting that matrix on there. And you get it, when you're putting a piece of wood up next to a buffing wheel, if you have less RPMs, it's much safer. It's not quite, if you catch an edge or something, it's not quite as violent.
I wonder how we
Right.
I know that.
Not quite as violent.
I don't know what area around it is, but if you go to Apple Four Corners,
but
it's on like.
Yeah, anybody that wants to see anything that I do or how I use specialty tools and things, you're always welcome to call me, and we can do a FaceTime. Or if you have the other phone, whatever it is, you can
Android.
do Android phone. Then if you download Google, what is it? The name of that. What is it? Used to be called Duo. Now it's Google. Whatever, but you can tell, we can FaceTime with the iPhone to the Android phone.
Yep.
But I have, I've been doing this a long time. I was on the road for 22 years, and I've done so many workshops. I've done over 800, demos, club demos, and thousands of people hands-on training. And I have figured out so much stuff. It's crazy. And it's a way to save you a lot of time. And because everybody does something a certain way, then there's always a reason not to. And that's what I learned in wood turning.
Well, thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
But any questions you guys have, or if you want to see me demonstrate something or anything, just let Captain Eddie know or Dane know or whatever, and I'll try to accommodate you.
Well,
we'll have a lot of wood.
What?
I will get you on there. Mark, because everybody enjoys watching you demonstrate. You got so damn much knowledge to pass on.
And if
You've
anybody,
forgotten more than most of us will learn.
yeah, if anybody needs nice dry wood, I still have 3 warehouses. I've got about right now about 3 to 3.5 tractor trailer loads of dry wood left, and these are all kinds of wood. And if they fit in a flat rate box, all right, then we can ship all over the place. A flat rate box, if you take a 12 by 12 by 5-inch thick, like a bowl blank, that'll fit in a large flat rate box. I can send it to Hawaii or Alaska or Virgin Islands for $19.
Yep.
You know, but
He sent me a block. He sent me a block, for $20 for the packaging and
did you ever turn that thing?
not yet. I haven't even had a chance.
Oh my God.
But it's good. I got it in the house.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I think that was
I got
ambrosia.
it in the east.
That
Yeah,
was ambrosia. That day.
It was a beautiful piece of ambrosia. Yep, sure is. I've got plans for it. I got four projects going to come out of that. 4 hollow forms.
But as far as like peppermill blanks and billets, all kinds of billets, I mean, everything. And they want to charge you out the yin yang. You go to Woodcraft or something like, oh my God,
Yeah.
right? They want so much. But anyway, thank you for all your support. I don't get on here all the time, but I'm back teaching. I'm back turning that little box that I turned today. Well, it was Katie's birthday yesterday, and so I made her. She had looked at that little piece of whatever. I think it's not box elder. It was
Buckeye Bowl.
Buckeye Burl. She had it in her hand before she went to Mississippi. She spent a week out there at Sammy Long's in Jackson, learned how to carve. And so I was thinking, what about something, So I just made her that little box out of that piece of wood that was the bottle stopper blank. She says, oh, I just love this stuff. It looks like stone. And so I did it, and she came over this afternoon, and it made her happy,
Made us happy to see it.
Yeah, it was nice to see her smile. The way she was holding it and smiling about it when you were showing the pictures, Mark, it seemed like she had turned it. So
yeah. But it was
it's badass.
But you'd be surprised how many little tiny bowls and everything I sell go to a show. Right? It's absolutely amazing. Take all your little scraps, just turn them into little tiny bowls, because the little girls always want them for their doll houses, things like that. But all this tiny stuff sells. Use all your scraps. I take the leftover pen blanks. If I've got a 6-inch piece and maybe I've made a pen out, I take that and I put a little silver bail in it. And you can buy a sterling silver chain, for about $9. And you put that on there and make a beautiful teardrop pendant or something out of a little scrap burl piece. The ladies buy it all day long. What is this? Oh, it's a Buckeye burl, or it's a cherry burl, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so simple. All you're doing. I'll tell you what. Another thing. Casey came over to my house the other day, and he's a golfer. And I said, "Well, Casey, let me tell you what. I take my scraps, right? These little scraps, and I make golf tee sets.
Yeah.
out of every different type of wood, right? And you sell these sets to golfers who want to give their buddies something as a gift. And you know what they do? They go out and they get them mounted on the green felt, put them in a picture frame. They'll never use them, but each one is a little different design. It's just like making these ornaments. You know, you got 4 or 5 minutes and they're done. It's amazing. But if you make all the things that I make, since I sell people the good wood, I make things out of all the scraps.
Right.
Anyway, I'll get.
Casey must be rich.
Well, you know something.
He golfs and he turns wood. Two expensive hobbies.
Well, let me tell you what. Casey Wilson is a class.
It is a joke. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Since I had this stroke, he comes up almost every weekend. He helps me in the warehouse, right? He drives my truck for me. You know, he's here. He's supported me for over a year with this stroke. He's one of my dearest friends. And like he was here, he helped me bring another load from the warehouse to cut up.
Yeah.
I gave him 2 beautiful pieces of wood to take back, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah, Casey's a gem. I've talked to him a couple different times.
Yeah, he's become a real good wood turner.
Yeah.
We're gonna hopefully do a show together in November.
Nice.
Kate, myself, and Katie Navarro, the lady that was in that picture, I guess you got.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll
That's
have
good.
Where's it going to be?
Make small things that are useful. Just
Where's the show going to be?
It's going to be up in Roswell in November. It's the Irish Fest show.
That's in Georgia, right?
Yeah, it's right here above Atlanta.
Okay. Just checking because we got Roswell out here in New Mexico, so you'd have to make a lot of lot of flying saucers and Martians.
I keep a lot of my wood in Area 51. I have a storage unit that's number 51, so it's always been called Area 51.
There you go. How about that? Yeah.
And anyway, I have probably 900,000 of these 2x2 by 2.5 bottle stopper blanks. I've probably got another 500,000 or 600,000 pen blanks. You know, they're all 1x1 by 6 that are just all kinds of spalted wood, burls. You know, I mean, they're just gems. You know, they're just gems, and they're cheap, cheap, cheap. You know, and I can put a lot of stuff in these different shaped flat rate boxes. But
For sure.
Anyway, I'm going to shut up.
No, you're good, Mark. We're just rambling. That's all we do here. So,
but you know, everybody brings a little bit something different to the table.
yes.
You know, and I have actually, even though I have some experience, I have actually learned a lot of things from Worldwide Wood Turner.
It's hard not to if you have an open mind.
Right. And then you go out and you say, well, let me test it out. Let me try it.
Yeah.
We just bring chaos.
Yeah.
I learned, I was watching a guy, and you know these broccoli rubber bands, they're real thick.
Mm-hmm.
Put on. Well, next time you have to use your jaws, and you have to, clamp them on the inside. I took a bastard file and I took all those little grooves off of mine. But what you can do, all you got to do is put one of those broccoli rubber bands on your jaws. And when you expand it on the inside of your wood, it never mars the wood. And it expands or contracts.
I've used those. I've used
never.
those.
Now, something so simple as that,
Yeah.
you know, you do one of those, you hit your forehead. Now, why the hell didn't I think of that?
Yep.
Here's another really, really, really good tip. Does anybody have cold jaws?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, they're a good paperweight.
Got 2 pairs.
Yep.
Okay.
Mine's set up collecting dust.
Oh,
All
I
right.
use mine all the time.
Here's a good trick. When you have your, like they're made, I have the ones that are made by One Way. And so the screws that hold those little rubber buttons in there in the cold jaw,
Mhm.
those
Yep.
same screws,
M6.
those same screws fit in your Talon chuck or your stronghold chuck. So what you can do, you can attach those buttons for your small projects, right?
Like turning one-piece spoons.
Right. And now you have the little dovetail buttons on there that are rubber and they're soft, and you're not putting those great big giant cold jaws.
Oh.
Yep.
I never even thought of that.
It is
Yep.
handy as hell,
Nor had I.
Why didn't I think of that?
right?
We had a
But
demonstration. We had a demonstration showing how to use standoff screws like that.
Oh.
Land
I
Brady.
didn't understand. I didn't get that.
Right there.
Okay. You take,
There you go.
si-
What
yeah,
Scott's
Oh.
got.
similar to that, except you use the standard, you may
Standard
not
button.
need to use the long ones, just use the shorter, softer button ones.
and they're rubber and they're dovetail. So
Yeah.
that
But you
they'll
can use, you can hold round things with the long ones.
yeah.
Right.
When I made the Kadama, this is what I used to hold the ball, to drill the ball.
But that's how you make a one-piece scoop, a true one-piece scoop, instead of it being 2 parts or
Right.
doing a hollow and then grinding it, and then grinding one down, and it's just a half hollow scoop. But
Right.
yeah, Land Brady did a demo on it probably 3 years ago now. And I've done slow-mo pictures or slow-mo videos of the process, and along with pictures, shortly after that as well, on how to do them, and then also how to order the M6 screws, get the different lengths, use automotive hose or
No clothes.
in my case, I use life support hoses because I had quite the supply of them. But yeah, it works great for holding round items.
The flexible vinyl hose works really well too.
Yep. It's just
With
enough
it's braided on the inside.
Yes.
I use milk house hose that isn't braided on the inside, and then I use nylon bushings that fit inside the milk to hold the milk house hose. They're actually nylon bushings in there to give it strength.
Cool. My vinyl ones, I don't have any bushings in it, but I've not found that they needed to be. But you can, if you have something that's a little harder to hold, you can put those longer screws with those sleeves on them that you cut
Yeah.
yourself in your cold jaws, and that works a treat. But I've never thought about using those or the standard bumpers just on a regular set of jaws. That's brilliant.
Let me tell you what, on that small stuff, it saves you a lot of time.
I can imagine.
A lot of time. Like when I do those pedestal candles, I make recess that'll fit those 3 little ball feet. Then all I do is I expand my chuck in there and I can clean off the tenon on the bottom, and it's all over. Boom, boom, boom. I don't have to even think about it.
Yeah, Billy, see, they're just a nylon bushing
Oh, yeah.
and they fit in inside that hose. And the thing about these is they're nice. They fit the bolts exactly.
Yep.
Don't wobble on the bolts, so you get a nice tight fit. And you can make them whatever length you want. I buy them in 3/4. This is half. I think they come all the way down to 1/4. So you could make all your own multi-size bumpers just with some hose and some nylon.
That vinyl hose that I've got is a thicker wall, and it fits the bolt perfectly. It needs no spacer.
Yeah, this is just thin wall hose.
I don't remember what size it is. Maybe 3/8, but that would be exterior. 3/8 or 1/2 inch.
Yeah, I think these are 3/8 X. The outside of the bushing is 3/8, and the inside of the hose is 3/8.
On your one-way jaws, the number 1 step jaws, they will close down and hold a 3/8 pin. So
Yeah.
like on that little thing that I showed tonight, I drilled the holes 3/8, right? And then when I'm doing like the foot and all that, I put it on there and I make a 3/8 tenon, and boom, everything fits, right? And you can use the jaws, make things to fit the mechanism that you have to turn with. Don't try to make something that's non-standard or doesn't fit your equipment. You just spend all this time messing around, just like on all my Christmas ornaments. I do it so that there's no tenons, so I can make 100 different finials and they're all interchangeable. I never have to measure a tenon. People want to keep doing it, and it just drives. They spend so much time. It's crazy. Standardize all your stuff that you're using, and then the wood and the design and everything makes it different.
Sorry about that. I
Good
had to step away.
information.
Somebody was ringing my
Great
doorbell.
idea. Oh,
And we don't have guests at nighttime here, so had to go inspect the damn Uber food delivery for my son.
So somebody does ring your doorbell at night.
Yeah, somebody rang the doorbell tonight, so don't answer the door without, the peace.
yep.
Hey, Glenn, you gonna go up to the level up with Joaquin?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to make it.
No.
No. Now, hopefully, the last few years I've been wanting to go to SWAT, but it just hasn't happened. And hopefully, maybe next year I'll be able to maybe make it to SWAT at least. So,
Well, you got 2 years to plan,
well, that's true.
right?
Yeah.
And it'll be way cheaper than going to SWAT.
Accommodations. One night of accommodations at SWAT is going to be the equivalent of 2.5 nights at level up.
Yeah. May have to sneak in the back of his truck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Grab your lathe, boogie on up. I know
Yeah.
Joaquin appreciates the company. I don't know if his wife would, but
What town in Wisconsin is that at?
Wisconsin Rapids.
Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. Okay.
Yep. And it'd be really swell if you'd be able to come up, Mark.
Yeah,
Well,
that'd
I'm
be
not-
awesome.
Well, I might try to do that. This year I'm not. I was offered a free ride to SWAT and all that, but I'm just not physically ready just yet.
Right. Well, you got 2 years.
I
Get
know.
yourself in shape.
I still can't drive. That's just bugging me.
Yeah.
But at least I'm able to turn, and I'm able to turn about 95% of what I used to be able to.
So what I need to do is I need to talk to Casey about this.
Yeah,
Get
there
your
we go.
ass up there. Yeah, right?
Well, maybe
Huh?
maybe I can be driving by then.
Yeah, well, hopefully. Casey can come too. Shoot,
Heck
I'd love to
yeah.
meet him in person.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I'm going to give Casey a shout then.
He's
Put a
a,
bug
he's
in
a,
his ear.
he is a class act all the
Yes,
way.
he is. Yes, he is.
And he's
Yeah, there was
doing
there were some shenanigans that took place 1 or 2 demos ago that you had done, and somebody had wanted to, everybody was muted, and a couple people took themselves off mute just so they could be heard, which brought the wrath of me. And Casey reached out to me to thank me for doing what I did during your demo on shutting these 2 individuals up. And then we talked, later on again about it. But yeah, Casey is a straight up man. Yep.
Yeah. He came over the other day. This was 2 weeks ago. And he said, "What was that trick that you showed Katie about making wands?" And he always calls these little tricks gold nuggets. So I said, okay. He brought in about a 15 or 18-inch piece of 1x1 stuff. And I said, number one, you can't turn a wand between centers. It's just like a cane, because if you put compression on the wood,
Flex.
then it's going to flex, right? And I said,
Yep.
the other thing that people have a problem with, they don't understand, that you've got to do the point first, the very
Yep.
tip first, and then almost everybody has a pen mandrel that has a hole in it that shoves up and puts pressure on the bushings. And I says, now all you do is you put the point down in that hole in your tailstock, and then you put the other end in your number one jaws. Now you have no compression on the wood. Now you can do the whole damn thing lickety split, And then when you get done, you don't have to worry about cutting it off or wobbling or anything like that. Why? Because the tip is contained. Then all you've got to do is hand sand off the tip a little bit, and that's it. Oh man, well, it solves the problem, so little things like that really make the difference in the frustration or the joy in the shop.
You can even do that with finials.
Yeah,
using the mandrel saber.
Yeah, you can do that, but I don't. I do my freestanding. I don't put anything.
Yeah, I do the same. Start from the tip and work your way back.
Yep. All right, guys. I think it's my bedtime. I got to get my beauty sleep.
Well, hey, Mark, you might need to sleep in a couple hours tomorrow.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up at about 3:30, go out to the shop, and I like to turn between 3:30 in the morning and 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, you're still keeping that schedule.
4 hours of uninterrupted, 4 hours of totally uninterrupted time because the fun start up at 9 o'clock.
No, that'll work. We appreciate all the knowledge you've passed on tonight, Mark. We got it captured in perpetuity here with the after hours chat records. So, and of course, all of us that were listening and paying attention, we've stored about a third of it away in our memory banks, and we've already forgotten the other 2/3.
Well, no, again, if anybody ever has a question, call me up. And you'll be treated as a friend. And I want everybody in the world, when I pass away, that's a wood turner, be able to learn some of the things that I've learned and pass it on to the younger generation.
Right.
I think that's our responsibility. And instead of trying to hold it in and, be hoity-toity about all the crap, just share it all.
Right. I agree.
That's what it's all about.
That's what we're trying to do here.
Thanks for everything, guys. I don't get on there all the time. Sometimes I fall asleep I'm getting better.
Yes, you are. All right, Mark.
Take care.
Thank you, Mark. Good night.
Take care.
Good night,
Mark. Appreciate it. See you. I think I'm going to take off too. We'll talk to you guys next week.
All right, Brent.
Good night.
See you, Brent.
Good night, Brent.
Yeah.
You might need to sleep in too.
Yeah, I need some beauty sleep. There's a lot more.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I just need to shave. Hey, look, Mr. Edwards. Mr. Edwards is bringing the camera down now.
I'll lay down.
You're muted, Robert. You're muted, Robert.
Pause, I am.
Yes, sir.
There he is.
Uh-oh.
Duty isn't in my.
Hit the camera
Yeah.
off.
I've been lurking.
There
we go.
I know you have. It's all good. Have you made anything new, Robert?
I beg your pardon?
Have you made any new turnings?
Not lately. No,
No.
no. I've been traveling. Just had a new great grandchild in Chicago, and had a grandson graduate from college and got him packed off to Texas Tech, and haven't been on the lathe in this month at all.